It's like a wedding.
Before I get started, I'd like to tell you about this. I got in a hurry, so I stapled it wrong. You flip it over, you got the two front pages, one on one side and one on the other. There's a bunch of them up here on the desk along with my business card. As I said, my name is Albert Freed, but what they don't know is I've been married 41 years to the same lady. We have 3 handicapped children. They're mentally handicapped, and some people say, well, they feel sorry for you. Don't. These kids are great. They're loving, and I've got a guarantee that nobody in here has. Can anybody figure out what that guarantee is about my kids? That I don't care, unless you've got a handicapped child, I got a guarantee you don't have. They're all 3 going to heaven. Okay? To start the story off, whenever I got married, I was in the service, and I didn't believe in taking any medication of any kind. Well, I worked for the military and civil service, and along the way I developed carpal tunnel. If you know what carpal tunnel is, it's very painful. And I got it so bad that I could not hold a piece of paper in either hand. I mean, I literally put a piece of paper like that between my fingers, my whole arms would ache, my hands would open up, and I'd drop it. I sold my motorcycle, Yamaha 650. I gave up my photography, professional photographer. I got pictures hanging on the wall of Charlie Daniels, Doug Stone, Tim McGraw, Tracy Morris, autographed. But I had to give it up. I went to the doctor. The doctor says, well, we'll shoot you with cortisone. And they shot right here in the palm of your hand, or the heel of the palm of your hand. And let me tell you something. If you haven't had it, it's extremely painful. But for 6 months, I was right back where I was. Lo and behold, after 6 months, the pain started coming back, and worse than ever. Went back to the doctor. I said, Doc, I got to have some relief. The doctor looked at it. He said, well, the only thing we can do is surgery. He says, but he said, no guarantees. May fix it, may not, may last, may not. And Doc, that don't sound too good, but I said, I've got to have some relief. He said, well, we'll schedule for surgery, one hand and then the other. He said, I'm booked up 3 months in advance. It's going to be 3 months before I can get to you. I said, well, if I have to wait, I have to wait. Well, a young lady that's a massage therapist that I knew had invited me over because she was practicing to get her license. And I was telling her about it. And she said, well, Albert, why don't you try this? And she had a little bottle there and it was already open. Well, at that time, I didn't take any kind of medication for anything. I'd had a surgery, a very serious surgery that the doctor said I'd stay in the hospital at least 3 days because of the pain. They gave me 1 pain pill after the operation, 1 pain pill at lunch. I took 1 before I went home that same day, which the doctor said had never happened before. I took 1 after I got home, and the rest of them I returned to the doctor. I didn't believe in taking any kind of medication. This bottle was open. She said, well, Albert, I took 1 out of it. She said, this will help you with your carpal tunnel. I said, okay. So I took it home, I set it on the shelf, and I got to thinking, I really didn't want to have an operation. I didn't want to go through that pain. So I started taking the little bottle of pills, just like she told me to. And lo and behold, in a couple of days, the pain was gone. But I could do like this, and it was still like electric shock all the way through my arm. It didn't take that away. I was still a little bit there. If I'd run out of that bottle, and that bottle's called Cat's Claw, you can buy it at any health food store. It's a tree bark, and it's anti-inflammatory. So I took that, and if I'd run out for about 3 or 4 days, the pain would all start coming back. Well, at that point, Mr. Ross, Scott Ross here, introduced me to Tisha Noni. He said, Albert, what you got to lose? He said, try this. He said, drink this. He says, if it doesn't help you, he said, I'll give it to you for free. Oh, well, what have I got to lose, you know? That's a pretty good deal. So he gave me this juice, and I started drinking it. And I started at a ½ ounce, and I built it up to 6 ounces in 2 months. Now, I got about 15 days left before I'm supposed to have the surgery. I called up and canceled the surgery. Well, during that time that I was drinking it, I'd run out of Cat's Claw, and I thought, well, I got to get down and get some more before it starts back. The pain didn't come back. And then I realized I didn't have the electric shock. I can grip you as hard as I ever could, and I have no pain. Okay? All naturally. And I started with this company, and I started helping other people. My mom had arthritis. It seemed to help her. There's all kinds of natural products out there that most of us never heard of. Most of us never research. I I'm 61 years old, will be 62 November 2nd. Now, I'm in dress pants, so I won't be able to do it maybe too high, but I can still do a little kickboxing. And I enjoy life. I take no medications of any kind. I went to Hawaii. I gained up to 320 pounds. I ate everything in sight. I came back from Hawaii. I had an infection. I went to my doctor. I said, Doc, well, since he was checking me out for that, I said, diabetes runs in my family. So I said, you need to check me for that. Now, I don't know how many diabetics we have in here or anything, but I was 674.
Reading?
674.
You're supposed to be in a box.
He couldn't tell. But I'd been drinking about 2 ounces of Noni a day. Okay? So, anyways, he put me on pills, he put me on insulin. I said, Doc, I'll be back in norm within 3 weeks. In 16 days, now I was using this medication, okay? In 16 days, I was 124.
Wow.
But I went up to 8 to 10 ounces of Noni a day. I throw the pills in the garbage, put the insulin in the refrigerator. Haven't looked back since. Don't take any medication. My doctor can't believe it.
What you reading?
This morning it was 132.
Thank you.
Okay? The highest it's been since then, I ate a half a pizza. 2 hours later, it was 214. Okay? Not bad.
No.
But the thing about it being is there's all kinds of natural products out there. We don't know anything about it. I gave you 2 on this sheet. Everybody needs fiber. Nobody gets enough. When you start on the fiber, you will see a change in your life. I don't care whether it's this fiber or another, but I went down to Everman's, went every place I could find. The best fiber I could find in comparison to this was a 12 blend fiber. Okay? The vitamin hit the market the first of this month. It's a whole food vitamin. It has no chemicals, no preservatives in it. We went to Everman's, we went to a few other places. Anything that compares for it is like $45, $55. And they're not 100% RDI, recommended daily intake. This vitamin is. Okay? Now, another thing. My wife is a redhead. Our marriage was almost over because when I would leave the house, she'd be screaming at me. And all the way down the driveway, she'd be screaming. When I came back, she started screaming. Her hormones were way out of whack. But I was getting to the point I couldn't take it. Well, I listened to a little CD from a Dr. Lee, John Lee, the foremost authority on women's hormones. And he was talking about natural progesterone. Well, my wife had tried one from GNC. She tried one from a couple other places. Nothing had happened. Well, I got on a diet program that was designed for women, by a woman, and some food scientists. All natural. It came with a little trial pack of progesterone. And I was about from here to Scott. Here, try that. The next morning she put it on. The next afternoon she put it on. I went and bought 2 tubes of this, left one in the car, handed it to her. She said, it didn't do that much good. I said, honey, just try it. 28 days later, she said, where's another tube of that? She's back to the lady I married. We have a good marriage, and we're going to stay married as long as I live. And if there's any women in here that would like to try it, I will give them a tube of it free because it is that good. Check out Dr. John Lee on the internet. But if you have a woman that has mood swings, the reason they're that way is because all the meats, all the vegetables, everything we eat now has estrogen in it. And your estrogen level goes just like this. Your progesterone level stays down here. You need to balance that out. Little girls become women at what, 10, 12 years old now? It's because their estrogen is so far out. You start them on natural progesterone at about 8 years old, they'll be 16 before they become women or older. It's all about taking care of yourself, researching, doing the research. If you would like additional information, I have a book here. You put your email address on there, that's all you need, and whenever I get the information, I will forward it to you. And it's all about natural health. And that's what I do. Any questions?
Where's my free tube?
All right, well, I'll make sure you get a free tube. Well, I'll tell you what, progesterone is also good for men, they found out. I started using it not too long ago because they say it helps reduce belly fat. Of course, I got